All right, guys, we put out a poll last week, Saturday, where I had you guys each pick 3 stocks that you thought were going to go up by the most the following week. One of you was the clear winner this week. The other one was down a little bit. But we're going to talk about how you both could have been profitable had you timed these trades correctly. So that's what we're going to talk about in this video. Stick around. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining me for another video. I'm Richard Allen. We talk about stocks on this channel, and every once in a while we do a fun video like this, and I have another one planned for tomorrow. So we did a head-to-head competition basically, where you guys each picked 3 stocks. I'm hoping that a bunch of you will enter this week. Over 80 of you guys entered last week, and it was really fun to see. One of you said, if this isn't a weekly thing, I'm throwing hands. So it's a weekly thing. I don't want to get beat up. Man, chill. So we picked Jim Redmond and we picked Jeweler at Large. So who do you guys think won? Jeweler at Large picked SBE, NEO, and Tesla. Jim Redmond picked HYLN, Home, and SQNS. A lot of you picked Jeweler at Large to win, and a lot of you picked Jim to win, and it was pretty neck and neck down in the comments. We're gonna peek at the numbers here right now, and Jim, we're gonna talk about your numbers first. Here's a little snippet of what I'm gonna be working on later. A lot of you guys are requesting that I talk about PLG stock, and I'm doing a bunch of research on that right now, so that's why this is up, okay? So let's just kind of scroll down here. We got my notes. Jim, you picked HYLN. You picked HYLN at $18.03. It finished the week off down 4% at $17.32. So that was a losing trade, unfortunately, had you held on for the whole week. However, there was a good exit point that we're going to talk about soon that could have made that trade profitable for you, Jim. All right, Home, HOME. You picked this up at $16.73. versus it ending at $15.26, or for a minus 9%. So that was 9% down on the week. That was a big loss if you would have held on the whole week. SQNS was also down 5%. You picked it up at $5.83 versus it ending the week at $5.51. The market had a tough week last week, okay? I think we're gonna have a big week next week because vaccines just got approved, right? That could be a big factor. We're going to talk about that later in a video as well. Overall, Jim, had you held on to these 3 positions the entire week, you would have a 6% loss overall between those 3 positions. Now, that's not to say that these won't go up over the next few weeks, right? If you guys remember these videos that I used to do, I would pick my top 6 favorite stocks that would go up, right? I picked Pack B. And 2 weeks in a row, it was down. And then on the 3rd week, it went up a ton, like 20-some%, okay? So it went down. It was trading kind of sideways. It went down like 4 or 5%. And then it went up 20% the 3rd week. So sometimes you can't get in and out of a trade in just 1 week. Sometimes you got to plan a little bit longer. All right, Jeweler at Large. So you had NEO. NEO was down 3%. You picked it up at $43.04 versus $41.98 is where it ended. But again, we couldn't have anticipated that they were going to do a public offering. That's probably the biggest factor that was a negative factor for NEO this specific week. All right, number 2, you picked Tesla. And that was at $599.04 versus $609.99, or for a 2% gain. So far, that's the first winner of the week had you held on for the entire week. SBE was your 3rd choice. This was the biggest winner of the week across the board, okay? You picked it up at $32.90 versus it ending at $37.91. So overall, you had an average, had you held on, of 4.3%, okay? Now, I do want to talk about some principles of swing trading if you're into that sort of thing. What I like to do personally is I like to plan out my trades, okay? If I see that a stock is relatively volatile, I will plan to try to gain 10% on that trade, okay? If it's more of a slow-moving stock, but I still think the technicals show me that it could go up, or the sentiment show me that it could go up, I will hope for a 5% gain, and I will actually automate those things. What you can do, once you own shares of a company, you can set a limit sell order. What you can do is set a minimum amount for that you're willing to let go of those shares. So let's say HYLN, for instance, Jim. Let's say HYLN has been a relatively volatile stock. So that would have been one that I would have picked to try to gain 10% on. Now, overall, it looks like you're down 4% on this trade, but at one point, HYLN was actually up 11%. You can see that right here. So HYLN at one point got to a high of 2024 on the 8th. So 2 days after you picked it, so on Tuesday, you would have been up potentially in and out of this trade at 10% had you planned for a 10% swing. So what you would have just done is set, let's say it was just 20 bucks. Let's say it was 19 something, whatever. You set your limit sell order at 19 something and boom, you're out of that trade. Now, of course, you have to make that decision on your own, but these are little principles that I use when I swing trade that have helped me. I've grown my portfolio consistently by 30% per month for the last few months since I've been really actively trading. And I think this is totally doable if you use some of these principles, okay? So you could have exited HYLN and SQNS for a 10% and a 5% swing. If you would have timed the market perfectly and exited all your trades, you would have actually averaged a 6.3% gain. That's not so bad. That's exactly what we're looking for. Personally, that's what I'm looking for, is a 5 to 10% swing for the week overall, and that usually gets me to my 30% per month. Again, you can grow a portfolio really, really quickly if you can consistently gain 30% per month, okay? All right, so jeweler at large. Let's look at yours quick. So NEO, at one point, NEO was actually up 11%. If you thought NEO could have moved a lot, let's say you had no idea about this public offering that was happening, you thought NEO was gonna move and you wanted to swing trade this, you could have used that same principle, a limit sell order at 10%, and you would have exited that trade for a 10% gain. Now, I made a video the other day saying I just bought NEO. And I did. I bought NEO at around 42 something, 42.15, I believe. But I anticipate that it will be a good week for NEO next week. Tesla. At one point, Tesla was at 654.32. Now, had you thought Tesla was going to move a lot, you wouldn't have been out of this trade, right? Because at one point it was up 9%. Didn't quite get to that 10%. But if you would have been a little more conservative with this trade, which I would have been on Tesla, because again, I told you guys it was at all-time highs already. If you would have planned for a 5% swing, you would have exited the trade at at 5% at a 5% gain, and then you wouldn't have only gained 2% on the week had you held for the entire time. Let's look at SBE. At one point, SBE, guys, was the big winner for the week. Not only was it up 14% overall for the week, at one point it was up 26%. And I thought SBE was going to move. This was probably my favorite pick for the week last week. At one point, it got to 44.41 on the 9th. It was a big, big move for 26% gain. So again, you could have either held on to this, obviously, right? But if you would have thought it would move a lot, you could have potentially missed out on either a 4% gain or a 16% gain. And that's the potential pitfall with swing trading that a lot of you have to kind of think about when you do these swing trades. Are you willing to take a 4% or a 16% dip? Are you willing to take that and say, you know what, I won 10%, I'm not going to look at it anymore? Or are you going to feel bad that you missed out on 4% or an extra 16% gain? You've got to try to train your psychology that you're happy with the 10% gain, or you're always going to feel like you're missing out or you made a mistake. So if you're going to swing trade, you have to have the right mentality, you have to have the right planning, or you're going to fail because 85 to 90% of traders fail. Those are just the statistics because they get emotional about it. They don't plan their trades. They get in and out too fast or too quickly, or they wait too long, right? Let's say, Jim, with HYLN, let's say you would have waited, you wouldn't have planned your 10% gain. You'd be down 4% right now, right? So you guys have to think about that and try to get your psychology right around the fact that you're swing trading. Now, if you're holding long term, I think most of these plays are very, very good. Again, I don't know anything about Home or SQNS. HYLN just had some good PR yesterday or today. So HYLN could have a really good week next week, even though they're down 4% right now. So some of these trades are more longer term holds. Tesla, I think we all think Tesla is going to be a multi-trillion-dollar company someday. Okay, so Tesla, I think, is obviously a good long-term hold. SBE, if you guys watch my videos, you guys know how I feel about ChargePoint. that merger is hopefully coming up very soon. NIO, I think, is a great long-term play as well. As long as they continue to comply with this new legislation about delisting Chinese companies, and China is fine with them complying, I think NIO is a fantastic long-term play as well. I think even though it's at these $50, it's up 2,000% over the last year, it's still a good long-term play because it's still in its infancy. It's still so much, like a tenth of the volume that Tesla does. So there's a chance that it could be worth 10 times more, right, over the course of the next 5 or 10 years that it is worth now. So a lot of these plays are really great long term. But we're going to do this again tomorrow. I put up another poll, so hopefully you guys are checking that out as well, and you guys can re-enter. I'm going to do both of the picks at random this time, so that'll be really, really fun. So have some fun with it. I don't care if it's over the counter this time or on the NASDAQ or the New York Stock Exchange. You guys can pick whatever tickers you want, so go crazy with it, but only pick 3. Okay, only pick 3, and I'll make this a very similar video tomorrow, and then we'll do a recap as well. At some point, I hope to be able to do this as a real competition, to do actual, giveaways. So I think that would be really fun to do as a community and get you guys excited about this kind of thing, okay? Even if it's like $50 to $100 that we give away every week, I think it would be really, really cool to do that. So speaking of giving away money, if you aren't familiar with the live stream that we did the other day, I'm going to post it in the description because it was super, super fun, but not only for the fact that it's fun to watch. If you comment on that video, as long as you're subscribed to the channel and you comment on that video, you're going to be entered in a chance to win $500 because we have 15 more $100 to give away. So 3 more of you are going to be picked to win $500. So get down there and comment on that video and share that video with somebody that you think could use $500 and would enjoy the type of content that we talk about on this channel. Guys, expect a video on PLG a little bit later today. I'm really, really excited about this company. I don't know if I'm investing yet, but we'll talk about that in the video later. So stay tuned for that. Guys, as always, if you didn't already do it, click that beautiful red subscribe button down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.